AM 1430 KRGI. Good morning. It's 9:05. I'm Brian Gallagher with a guest in studio. Steve Irwin's come by from Desch-Paine Monument. We were supposed to have our visit last week, but we got just a little sidetracked.
Just a little snow.
But now that we're getting our way out of it and getting back to normal, we need to talk about decisions that you need to make for yourself or for family or for friends, especially when it comes to memorials, and that's where Desch-Paine can lend a hand. We talked a lot last time about the different types of upright memorials that are available. But how about the ones that are more of the flat markers, especially for someone who's maybe been involved in military service?
Right. We're going to talk about veteran markers only today, Brian. There are several choices, and in that first sheet I gave you shows, let's talk about the bronzes first. There's two bronze sizes. The smaller one is called the niche plate, and it's about 8.5 inches long, 5.5 inches wide. The second one is 24 by 12, and it can be put on concrete or it can be put on the back of a piece of granite that's already in the cemetery. And the third bronze is called a medallion, and we'll talk about the medallion later. And then there's two choices of flat markers, 24 by 12. Some reason I have a frog in my throat today. 24 by 12 gray granite or a 24 by 12 white marble. And those are both 4 inches thick. And those are generally set on top of concrete, but they can be set flush with the ground. And the last one is either a marble or a gray granite upright, and it's approximately 42 inches long, 13 inches wide, and 4 inches thick, so it's pretty tall. And generally those are set about 8 inches deep into the ground to give it some stability.
Gotcha.
So those are your choices on those. The second page is just the application itself. We will fill these applications out for the families. I do that quite a bit in the office, or we do it through the mail. And what we need is their discharge papers. But there's quite a bit of information on here, name, social security number, if they have a service number, date of birth, date of death, what branch they served in, if they've received medals, and then, of course, which of the headstone type they want, or the medallion. The medallion has a separate sheet, which we'll get into in just a little bit. So we can fill these out for the family, or they can have them filled out at the Veterans Office. Then sometimes they will allow you to add additional inscription, they call it, on one of those aforementioned options. And it's limited to no more than 2 lines and 27 letters. So there's a special sheet for that. If and they might say loving father, grandfather, something like that. And that's what that particular sheet is for. Now, there's a lot of choices of emblems. Probably the most common emblem used is the Latin cross. But I've seen a few Methodist crosses on there. We don't see much as far as the Star of David around here, but there's, I don't know how many choices, about 50 of them to choose from. Or it can just be plain. You don't have to have an emblem. And there is a spot on the application, it's in block 12, where you mark your choice of emblem or no emblem.
If you would like to see these, you can always get with Steve, and he can get you a full list and a full showing of what the emblems look like. But these are options to keep in mind for veterans.
Exactly. Now we're getting to the medallion that we had referenced earlier, and there are 3 sizes of medallions. There's they call it a 5-inch medallion. It's bigger than that, as you can see from the sheet. It's 6.5 wide, 4 3/4 tall, and a 1/2 inch in depth. And it's not completely round. None of the emblems are round. There's a 3-inch medallion, which is almost 4 inches. And there's a 1.5 inch, the smallest one, that's 2 inches wide, 1.5 tall, and 1/4 depth. and they have the branch of service on there basically is what's on there. Now, the medallion has a special form to fill out, and that's that last sheet I gave you. And the people can put this in the cemetery on a piece of granite. They can attach it by sandblasting an area the same size as that medallion and then sticking it into that hole that's been sandblasted. Or it comes with the tape and it can be taped on, or they can't even take it home. It doesn't have to be set in a cemetery. So that's your choice there on the medallions. And these are fairly new. They've been out for about, I'm going to say somewhere like 3 years. So you can have one thing from the veterans. You can't have more than one. So if you want the medallion, that's your option there. And we haven't seen very many medallions. Most people still go back to the bronze or the granite markers.
If you haven't seen the medallion yet, it looks like kind of a wreath shape in the background. Then it looks like a folded flag as an overlay, and then the branch of service is on a little banner underneath. And then it does say veteran across the top. It can list your branch of service, but with the three sizes, it's kind of a nice tribute.
Right. And all of these things that we have mentioned, the different options that people have, these are all provided at no charge from the government. There is a charge to install them, however they want to install them. And that will vary depending on how they want them installed as to what that charge is. So they can get it done at any monument company. And I guess that's about all we've got as far as the veterans goes.
There's always questions. If you have questions, you can contact Steve at Desch-Paine Monuments. How can they get a hold of you?
They can call our local number. It's 384-2422. There's an 800 number, 800-825-5783. And our address is 3805 Old Potash, west of Anderson Ford.
All right. Steve Irwin from Desch-Paine. Thanks for coming by. Good to see you.
Thank you.
It's 9:12. Good morning from AM 1430 KRGI.